Hey folks, Steve here with a very special video for you today. We're going to be talking about the convention to come. It is that time of year again. I have Game On, the convention in my local area. And that is going to be coming up next month. And I'm going to talk about the games that I have on the schedule to be played. So I've done this in previous years, talk about the games that are on the schedule, what the plan is. And then as the convention actually takes place, I will hope to bring you some commentary on how things have progressed during that convention and the gameplay, and ultimately probably some sort of post-mortem video once I'm, back from the convention to talk about my impressions of the games played. And I have an opportunity here to be playing some games that I've not played before. Or, well, some of these I've played the system, but not the specific game, which is going to lead to some good new experiences. So we're going to talk about that as the main part of the video here, and we'll have a couple of other wrap-up items I'll hit before the end, but that's the main point of this one. So the convention this year, the planning around it has actually been a little tricky. I kind of waited to get some stuff onto the schedule, and I've been pretty bad about that lately, and taking a while to kind of get situated on what I'm going to play and what the game plan is. And the reality is, between now and the convention, these plans might change. So if they do, we'll talk about that down the road. But the first day of the convention that I'll be attending, I did put on kind of an open invitation for someone to sign up to play a Great Campaigns of the American Civil War game. Because I've had it on the mind. I want to play more of it, but I was willing to kind of play whatever. Now, there are some folks playing, I think it's Here Come the Rebels, the Antietam campaign, at the convention across a couple of days. I didn't want to necessarily invest all of my time into that, though that was very tempting. Just because I will have other, I want to get as much gaming in of different things as I can. So I put out less than a day's worth of gaming dedicated to GCACW, and whoever signed up could pick the game because I have, all the relevant games that have come out at this point for GCACW. So someone did sign up and asked to play Grant Takes Command, which, lives today as Grant Takes Command 2 within the game box package that you would buy called On to Richmond 2, which is here. This is a relatively recent release for Multiman. Since this was published, I think we've had Thunder on the Mississippi come out, so this is pretty newish. One of the bigger boxes of GCACW at this point. And so while we could play On to Richmond 2, but we're going to do Grant Takes Command 2. There's also the Petersburg campaign. My intent was to schedule us to play scenarios. So we're not going to play an advanced game campaign because that would take too much time. Obviously, that's, I think, really where like the big draw is in this series, is playing the big campaigns. Obviously, campaign is in the name. But even the scenarios can provide interesting game experiences. And so to me, that's kind of the point, is just get to playing something. So we might play scenario 1, the wilderness, the battle in the wilderness. We might maybe play through that pretty quickly and then easily set up a different basic scenario. I think that's probably going to be how we approach this. That works for me. I've got everything. There's a little box fart for you. I have everything in the game package punched and rounded and in my new batch of Cube for Me trays that I've been slowly getting my GCACW stuff into. So everything's kind of neatly contained in there. So we will have this nice and easy to leverage for sorting and getting the game set up. So that'll be nice. So everything's kind of well situated there for that. So technically On to Richmond 2, but is Grant Takes Command 2. We'll see where that goes from there. I'm just excited to play GCACW again. I did really enjoy my time with All Green Alike from the Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 game package. and have really wanted to get back to this system more and more and more. And it's just been a time crunch thing, right? So that'll be fun. Rumor is we're going to have In the Valley released later in the year, which will have Stonewall in the Valley 2 along with Sheridan in the Valley. And so I think that's going to be a pretty cool game package. I'm really looking forward to that. I do have the old version of Stonewall in the Valley, and depending on timing later in the year, maybe I'll try to mess around with the old version before the new version comes out. Depends. I recall Thunder on the Mississippi going on pre-order, and then, gosh, it didn't feel like it was on pre-order very long before the game was available. So fingers crossed, the Valley game is going to be a quick turnaround this year. We'll see. So that's going to be it during like the main day, morning and afternoon of day one. In the evening, I'm set up to play a game called Nemesis. I don't have anything to show on camera here. I don't own Nemesis. I've never played Nemesis. I know Nemesis has been around for a long time. Kind of a like alien movie-esque type of thing with minis and hallways and stuff like that. I've never played it, but I've wanted to, and my friend put it on the schedule, and I said, you know what, I will jump on that and give it a shot. So we'll see. I'm sure I will have a good old solid fun time with that. Kind of a sci-fi thematic game that's up my alley too, so we'll enjoy that quite a bit. That'll make for a very good first day at the convention. Second day that I'll be there, I will be playing then Napoleon Invades Spain. So this is a similar situation where I was having trouble getting situated with something on the schedule that was going to make a lot of sense for me of like, what do I want to play? I was maybe going to have signed up for something, then I got like booted off it because it needed 2 people or something like that. I don't know. There's some weirdness. And I said, well, you know what? I want to play Library of Napoleonic Battles. And so let me put that on the schedule and let's see who bites. And my buddy signed up, and it was the same deal, like Library of Napoleonic Battles. You pick the game, and I'll bring it and we'll work it out. And he asked for something in the Iberian Peninsula, which is great because that is very far, from kind of the game that I've played, the gameplay I've had in Library of the Napoleonic Battles up to this point, where while it's not super in-depth, like there are mechanics using the cards for guerrillas and stuff like that. And so, for that, there's really 2 games that have been released up to this point, Napoleon Invades Spain and Napoleon's Quagmire, that are in that bucket. And after looking through the maps and the components, I said, well, let's try Napoleon Invades Spain, and then we'll look to play, I think, the Espinosa battle. I think that'll be a good battle where like it's big enough that there's stuff going on. The map has varied terrain, but it won't be so big as to be unplayable for somebody who's just learning it. And we'll basically be using like the morning and afternoon to play through that battle. I don't think we'll do the approach to battle. We'll just do the battle and see what happens. At least that's the game plan. Because of that, we are going to play with the cards for the possible guerrilla effect. I've never used the cards before, so that will be new. I will have to review the rules and how the cards work, but that will be, a good new experience, right? More in the series, but with the thematic, pinnings of the War of Liberation in Spain. The cards, we're also maybe going to use the counter sleds. So I do have counter sleds from OSG, so that we can have proper hidden movement without using extra counters and fiddling with that. We would use the counter sleds for that. So it not a guarantee that we're going to use them. It'll be kind of an option. I'll bring them with me. I think there might be a lot going on in the game in general to teach somebody, because I don't think my friend has played this before. So trying to teach it and then also have all this hidden movement stuff on top of it, even though the hidden movement is like a default rule, obviously you can just play the game without it. And so we'll make a decision on that, but hidden movement, cards, potentially, guerrillas, makes for a good game experience in the system that I've not gotten to enjoy yet. So this seems like a prime opportunity, really good. And then that evening, and I'm not sure what all shape this is going to take, somebody had put on the schedule the Spanish-American War 1898. This is a recent release, like this just came out from Compass, and somebody decided they wanted to try to play it at the convention. And I thought to myself, well, hey, that's great. I have my copy, and I don't know how soon I was going to cover it on the channel, so this is a good opportunity for me to give it a play. Now, I don't know for sure yet if we're just going to do naval or ground land stuff, or like the whole kit and caboodle. And if we play the whole kit and caboodle, I wonder if we'll have the table space for it. So that's TBD, guys. But we're going to play some amount of Spanish-American War 1898, which means I got to read up on the rules. I got to really absorb that. I have punched my copy, so I can fiddle with it if I want, but I think I'm just going to try to have read the rules and show up and figure it out along the way. So that should prove an interesting like first impressions. I've played GCACW before. I've played Library of Napoleonic Battles before. I have a sense that like I like these systems. They're enjoyable. So this is just now, well, what about this particular iteration of it? Spanish-American War I've not played, so this will be truly, a played first impression. Could be that I'll like it, maybe I won't like it. We'll figure that out along the way. And it's so new that it's going to be hard for granted, this is a remake, a reprint, but like my opinion is not colored by any sort of history with the game. So we'll see how that all pans out over the course of the convention. And that's kind of all I'm going to mention here. Like, it is likely I'm going to get into some other pickup games while at the convention. There's a little bit of open space there that is TBD, but these are the primary games that I'll have in front of me. So look forward to, a month from now, more or less, some follow-up videos on how the convention has gone. Conventions are a lot of fun. I'm sure that for the folks watching, if you've been to a convention, you already know, but if you've not been to a war game convention, let alone a board game convention, they are really worthwhile. So I'm really lucky the convention that I go to every year has a very strong war game bent to it. It is mostly war games, though it accommodates other board games and stuff. So you'll see, folks playing, I won't say Catan, they're probably playing something, some sort of Euro game is definitely going to be there. Various sorts of Euro games will get played, but a very large contingent of what is at the convention is wargaming, and that is really, obviously, of particular interest to me. So just being able to go there and know I'm going to be playing fun war games, I'm probably going to walk around and see some war games that either I own and haven't played, or maybe, I'm not sure about, and I'll have an opportunity to kind of see it in action. That's always fun. If you ever watch Justigard's video, Justin Fassino, he does some pretty good like walking around videos of these conventions. You can kind of get a sense of what's going on there, but it's much better to be there in person. And I'll mention, if you don't have a war game convention nearby to you, you may have a more conventional, Euro or just board game convention. It might just be called a board game convention. But there's a strong possibility that there could be some war game representation there. Or you could be the start of it. So if you've never done a convention, I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's something to look forward to. Definitely recommend doing that if you can. Find a way, make it work. Do some traveling if you need to. Bill it as a vacation. Do what you got to do. But it tends to be a lot of fun. So that's it for the Game On coverage. Now, to wrap this video up, I should just mention kind of like what's going on, current status, 2026. My gosh, we're in 2026. Crazy to think about. It's been a little while since my last upload. We did the big Cube for Me video. Obviously, big fan of that still. It's going to be a little harder to fit videos in for the next little while. Life has been busy. It's been the holidays, doing all those things. I kind of been focused on other hobbies when I've gotten the spare time. So I haven't done a lot lately. Now I have been, off camera. I've been punching and clipping games. I've been organizing stuff, but not a lot of like gameplay stuff that's worth a video. But we'll try to get back to that as I can. I may fit in a couple of short videos on various topics ahead of the convention, but assume the convention's going to be kind of my gaming time is prepping for that, reading rules and getting familiar so that I can both play and teach some of these games. Um, but when I'm back, or we'll say through the rest of this year to look forward to, I do have the Third World War, the deluxe edition from Compass Games that has been on the like next to do list for a while. I took a divergent path to go do Empire of the Sun because I was really in the mood for it, and I just said I want to play it. I'm just going to do it, and that was a lot of fun. I had a really great time with Empire of the Sun. That was a nice shorter play. It's not this big gigantic game. I could play it, get through it, do my videos, and be done pretty quickly. I do like that, but I know lately I've been playing a lot of really big games that take a long time to cover. Well, the Third World War is going to be another one of those big games that's going to take a lot of time, and I have to be choosy of like, am I going to do some videos on just the Arctic front, or the German front, or the Southern front, or the Middle East front, or whatever? It's going to be some permutation of that. I don't know that I'm going to do a great big gigantic combined game. I don't know that my map space is going to work well for it. I could make it work, but it's just going to take some doing. And that's a really, really long time to play something. And it could take up multiple months at this point. So I'm a little skeptical of trying to do the great big thing of the Third World War, but I am dying to get this played. I've had it on my to-do list for like years at this point. I need to get through that. I need to play it. I need to compare it to Red Strike and NATO. I need to do all that stuff. So that's going to be the next like big coverage series. Will be the Third World War. It's on the table in its box. It will be on the table, fleshed out here before too long, I hope. After that, I do have a couple audibles I may need to call. I kind of have a desire to play Axis Empires again, very specifically a 1939 Schiff's Krieg historical card play campaign run through. And I have that in mind for a couple of reasons. One, Axis Empires is just a fun game. It is a game that I've thought a lot about since I put it away, and I kind of want to come back to it and give it another shot. I really like the game. If you watch my review video, I state that. So it's really just for fun at this point. And playing through that campaign, I'm choosing 1939 all the way through with Schiff's Krieg and both fronts to kind of give me my like World in Flames-esque experience, or as close as Axis Empires would get. Because we usually play World in Flames starting in 1939. I have convinced my group in the past to start at 40, but I've not played World in Flames for a while now because we're on hiatus. I want to leverage Axis Empires to kind of fill the gap a little bit. And the closest way to do that is just to simply play 1939 as Schiff's Krieg for the most detail I can get, and then just use the historical card play and just play it out and just experience 1939. When I played the game for the channel, it was like Dice of Decision. We started in 1937. It was a really different game space when I wasn't playing these shorter scenarios. So I want to kind of return to Axis Empires, play something that is like, this is World War II as I know it, and play through it, have some fun. And I'll record that, or at least I'll do like video commentary, because if I'm going to go to all that work of playing it, I might as well produce a video on it. That's fine. And we'll just do that. So no Dice of Decision, not starting in 1937, because even in 37 things can get wonky, and I want to start with the invasion of Poland and just go through the whole shebang that I'm used to, at least in World in Flames, and really try to compare, how satisfied am I with that Vice playing World in Flames, since again I have not played with in months and months at this point. So and then maybe after that we're going to do another solo CDG, so a card driven game with a solo system from Stuka Joe. I think the game I have on my mind would be For the People. That's where my head is at. That might change by the time we get there. I might want to pick something else, Paths of Glory or otherwise, I'm not sure. But I did like the format. I want to try the CDG solo system a little bit more. and try out other games using that system. And another Mark Herman game seems like the right thing. And, I'll have a lot of ACW stuff on the mind. So that makes sense. So there you go, guys. And like that's as far as I can project out for quite some time. Could be I do For the People before Axis Empires, just because I'll need a shorter game to cleanse the palate after Third World War. How soon I get on Third World War, again, depends entirely on everything else going on and getting through the convention time period, but we'll see. So, hope that's informational, useful to you, fun to look forward to the commentary to come. If you played these games, you've got thoughts on them, you can share the comments down below. That's fine. Interested to hear what folks think. I think I'm playing a very safe convention. I'm playing games that should reasonably be good and a fun time. Nothing too bold and dynamic here, guys, but just good old-fashioned fun. So, all right. That's it for this one, guys. I will catch you later. Take care. Keep on gaming.